Okay, so with our Toasty, we notify the user that something went wrong. And that's great. But we also need to log these errors so we can look at them, find the bugs, and fix them. Now here's a question. Where are we going to log these errors? It can't be on the client because we may not necessarily have access to the user's machine. So we need somewhere in the cloud that is highly available. And that's where Sentry.io comes into picture. So Sentry is a state-of-the-art logging as a service. It integrates with quite a few different platforms, it's really easy to set up, and it gives you amazing insight into your application's health. If you want to use it as a hobby or during this course, it's absolutely free. And if you want to use it for a commercial product, the prices start from $12 a month. Now, just to clarify, I don't work for Sentry, neither am I an affiliate for this company. I've used their product and it's one of the best login services I have seen. So let me give you a quick tour of Sentry.io. Once you log in, you can create a project. You can select the project. Now in this project, you can see all the issues, all the bugs, all the exceptions. You can see how many times we have had that exception. You can see how many users have been affected by that exception. You can click an exception, look at the occurrence of this exception over the last 30 days. You can see information about the user's browser, operating system, the URL on which this happened, user's IP address, and so on. You can also see a stack trace. You can see exactly what methods were called before this exception was thrown. And here in the breadcrumb section, you can see how to work with the browser to reproduce this error. Now on the top, you can assign an issue to someone in your team. Then you can keep track of the open issues, the ones that are closed. You can keep track of your releases. It's absolutely beautiful. You can also configure to get emails on a weekly basis that summarize all the exceptions in your application. Now let's create a new project. I'm going to call this Viga. Then on the first page, you can see how to integrate Sentry.io with your application. So under frameworks, you see we have Angular 2. You can simply follow this documentation. It's super easy, but I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So first, npm install raven-js-save. Now here we need to upgrade the version of RxJS. So in package.json, I'm going to set RxJS to 5.3.0. It's also complaining about the version of Zone.js, but I'm not sure why, because we're using the exact same version, 0.7.8. So I'm going to do npm install one more time. All right, seems to be good. Next, we need to go to webpack.config.vendor and add Raven to our vendor bundle. So raven-js. That's the name of the folder in Node modules. So Webpack goes to this folder, and based on some standard structure, it's going to get the JavaScript file for this Raven library. All right, now, as I told you before, whenever you want to add something to your vendor bundle, first you need to stop the .NET process, then run Webpack config vendor.js. Beautiful. One more time. Webpack without any arguments. And finally, .NET watch run. Now we go to app module. On the top, import star as Raven from raven-js. Now before declaring our module, raven.config. Now here we need to add the URL to our project on Sentry.io. So if you follow this documentation about the setup, you can see this URL here. And if you lose it, you can always find it in your project settings. So on the project page, you go to project settings, scroll down on the left side, look at client keys. And here's the public key to our project. So copy this and paste it here as the argument to the config method. And then we chain the install method here. So with these two lines, we have set up Raven in our application. Next, we go to app.errorhandler. Once again, on the top, import star as Raven from raven.js. And in handle error, before displaying the toasty, we're going to call raven.capture exception. Now, as the argument, we need to pass this error object here. So we pass error.original error. If this is null, then we use the error object itself. Again, you can find this in the documentation of Sentry.io. All right, now let's try it. So back here, click, we got the toasty. Now after about half a minute to a minute, the error will appear on Sentry.io. All right, now on the dashboard, you can see the errors. So we've got 500 internal server error.